Welcome in the second part of our discussion with Beata Mosór, who is an expert in strategy in marketing and leadership. And in this second part, we would like to focus more on the marketing and also about the social impact of AI in the current world. In this podcast, we talk to founders and experts to share real stories and lessons from building and scaling digital products and companies. Pragmatic Talks is for those who want to understand how digital products are really built and grown. No fluff, no buzzwords, just honest conversations. So the first question that I have for you for today, and first of all, welcome again. How AI is helping marketers deliver more value, not just more content right now?
That's really hard question, I would say, and a good question because there's a lot of mess and a lot of waste in terms of marketing. People are creating a lot of materials that are focused on generating chaos, I would say. Like basically, we can observe like LinkedIn, how it changed the reach, the huge amount of content that is flowing through LinkedIn, and no one is reading that because it's like I do not want to say bullshit, but I would say it's bullshit, basically. So no one is thinking about the value. And when we prepared to this episode, I wrote you, I do not want to talk about marketing and AI because I won't say anything original, anything more than Mark Zuckerberg said about marketing and AI. And it's pointless to discuss that again and again and again because if you want to add anything to the table, to the plate, it's pointless to generate more content that is not valuable. So that's the huge problem right now. And I do not believe that every marketer or every strategist are thinking about that. And even that we are discussing that again today. Maybe I will say something interesting and original. I hope to. AI is changing the way we are perceiving content, that we are thinking about that we are creating, and I believe there is a circle of changes, so we had this peak of excitement going with the hype Gardner curve, and now we'll have this disillusionment, and we'll evaluate again, validate what is valuable and what's not valuable, and how we should use this technology. And now I believe it's this moment right now that we are thinking, maybe creating more LinkedIn posts based on the same scheme, based on the same database, based on ChatGPT. It's pointless because it doesn't generate any more reach. So let's approach that differently, and we can see signs of that. Like people are thinking, maybe we can create paper based on that, and that will be something valuable. Maybe we can reframe the framework or philosophy of work. And recently we took part in the discussion about Dave Snowden matrix, for example. Okay, yeah, so. People are changing their thinking about that and thinking, okay, so maybe posting 5 posts with mess on LinkedIn is not the value itself, and maybe let's think what will make our business or my personal brand stand out of the crowd. Yeah. So what is making us stand out of the crowd? Originality, definitely, and then being based on science, so reinventing something, doing some research, doing some paper, and maybe create something new, so inventions.
So you basically said that AI is not helping marketers deliver more value, or is not helping today's marketer in general delivering more value. But do you think that there are some ways that AI can support marketers in generating more value?
Yeah, definitely. I said that it's not depends on AI. AI is just a tool.
It's just a tool, yeah.
Is a tool. Is a partner, as we mentioned in the previous episode. But then it's my responsibility to think about that. Okay, so how I can use that responsibly to not to generate more waste, more chaos, and more manipulation.
So, but how?
I just said that. I just said that you can create new frameworks. You can create new inventions. You can create new papers. You can reinvent the old schemes of thinking, old structures. And for example, take the value will be to take the Dave Snowden matrix and not describe it as it is, but use AI to think, okay, how it could be described better
Yeah,
or
or for 5
delivered
years old,
better.
yeah,
Yeah.
or something like this.
Yeah,
Okay.
or simplify that to the user, because Dave is like very sophisticated in language and very like high level, but then utilization of that is like 1% of people understand this model. Yeah.
Usually one person in your room understands what is it about.
Yeah, so making it more functional in a way, or making it more useful, that will be the value you can bring to the table. You can also use AI to create research on particular topics we are discussing. Okay, so the strategy and marketing in the age of AI will definitely change. So you can create a paper on history of marketing. Philip Kotler, for example, how he approached the 4P, for example, and then reinvent by yourself using AI, doing some research to a new model that will be adjustable to the new era.
That makes sense. So what do you think are the biggest opportunities in the AI-driven marketing today?
Marketing teams always like not always, always is a bad word for as a generalization, but very often they have this excuse they do not have a budget. We don't have a budget to do this, we don't have the budget to resource to do this. And then I do not believe it. I believe creativity is stimulated by limits. And yeah, I believe so. So now companies can give like AI is a huge budget itself, so you can have your the huge possibilities in your pocket, in your phone, in your computer, without any additional cost usually, because most of the models are free and
Or just $20 or something like this. Yeah.
yes, or in a package of workspace or something. So you don't have to generate the costs. You can innovate whatever you want, and that opens the marketing mindset and can give the additional value for people who are very early stage and can bring the openness and fresh thinking about marketing and brought the ideas to the table, or at least prototype them. Create the MVP of that to show the value to the board members, yeah, or to owners of the business, or to the head of the marketing, showing, okay, I meant that, I described that, that's prototype. If you will give me $5,000, I can create that on a bigger scale. That will be a huge campaign, for example, that will bring some value to the business. Or they can use this to leverage their ideas. So they, based on the prototype they will create using low code, no code tools or AI, they can estimate the budget based on the historical data on research and show the roadmap or timeline to just convince people to their ideas. And I believe that young people or young experts are really creative, really they can look at things with a fresh perspective, and they can change, reimagine marketing. We have a very old marketing right now. We think about marketing as advertisement. We think about marketing as a very wasteful process, and those new generation of marketers can change this perspective, I believe.
Yeah, just to confirm what you just said, like our awesome team, marketing team already did a lot of things like that on a very low budget. Like for example, we have a custom-made competition tracking tool that is tracking all of the content that our competitors are writing about, and it's categorizing it, summarizing it, and showing us which the entire market, which direction the entire market is shifting right now. Like what they are talking about, like what all of them are talking about. If there are some similarities, that means that probably we should take a look at it, and maybe that's the direction that we should go as well, or maybe try to figure out something else. But just having this information and having it almost for free, that's pretty cool. And there's a bunch of other things that our team already did with AI. Like for example, they vibe coded some tools that are lead magnets right now for us, and that are generating cold leads for future campaigns and newsletters and etc.
That's very cheap with current programming tools that are based on AI. And I'm not thinking about Copilots or Microsoft, but Copilot is not the best one.
It's good to support programmers in programming, but there are other tools as well.
Yeah, but it's like the Copilot mistake is that they are created based on the not picky choice of code. So they are gathering all of the code from GitHub. So we have the results in terms of average programmer, so the mess of code. But then best models for programming are those that are picky in terms of people they follow that are added to train the model. So they are choosing only best programmers, and then so they get the best models, the best results in terms of programming.
So regarding the marketers and marketing teams, what skills should marketers develop right now to thrive in this AI-driven world?
If I will start my marketing path right now, I would go back to the core of the marketing. So I will read again Alex Osterwalder about business strategy and marketing strategy and tools around value creation. Then I will go through Philip Kotler and all of the classics of marketing.
So which one? Like marketing 2.0, marketing
Probably
3.0, 4.0?
I'm not agnostic to those. I believe ever is like it's about making money on publishing. Basically, the changes are not
Actually,
that big.
there was some progress between 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. Like things changed.
I have 4.0, so that should be like I would recommend this one based on my experience.
I usually recommend reading the previous one to people to learn how it's evolved during the time. And actually, it's not just the perceiving of marketing, perception of marketing evolve. Just the marketing evolve, but also the market and the people on the market and their buying behaviors evolve during those, I believe, 40 or 50 years.
That's something that will give you the sense of how systems of thinking are created, are designed. So because there's like full of models, full of frameworks that were used, and that will be useful for fulfilling the structure for your model. And then you should learn more about how AI models are built. So when I designed the AI-based marketing postgraduate studies for one of the universities, I said, okay, so this will be, the first part will be about how marketing processes and frameworks are designed, so core, which I mentioned. And then let's invite the machine learning and AI expert to explain basics about machine learning, about how it's operating, how it's created, what each model is for. Show how to work with models. So what obviously the classics about RAG, how it's created, what is the logic behind, because probably RAG will disappear soon, but then the logic behind was right. Yeah, so the process was right, reasoning was right. But also what are the strategies for high-level prompting, how models are operating. So what I mean about high-level prompting, so what is the meta prompt, how to build threads in the model, how to iterate on the model, how to uptrain that, how to use different options, different functionalities, what are different models for, so the logics behind that, because teaching particular models is pointless because it will change in a week, so it's like it doesn't matter, but the logic behind creation of models, how what is the difference between machine learning and AI, what we discussed in the previous episode. What is the difference about programming and when to use programming, when machine learning, when AI? When to use a low code, no code? What are your options? What is your toolbox? That's something that will that's the component of the like current marketing manager skills, toolbox, let's say. And then thinking about learning or case studies of strategies for international growth. for international sales, different marketing funnels and how they operate it, how they can be organized. Building based on case studies of the best companies in the world, because we used to say, but we can't use this strategy because that's the Google strategy. Maybe you could, like right now as a solopreneur, you can use the strategies that are delivered by the biggest companies in the world because you have toolbox in your pocket, so you can do that. So let's learn from the best. From my perspective on that, and then learn about efficiency of your actions. So think how to think about delivering best possible outcome through very good preparation. And that's something I try to show during the studies. We added there some experts in terms of particular types of marketing materials, not for learning how they use Figma, but how they think about creating, for example, design system or visual identity system for the language of the brand. That's Dawid Legierski from Rioters. Or how to use, how to design the international sales strategy through events and conferences. And that's Jacek Gołatajczak, who is an expert in that. And he worked for very big networks in London for international strategies through events organization.
So this human aspect, like connection with people, like building network, etc.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I believe you should then learn from the best around particular types of tactics you can use and observe how they are structured, because then in the end of the day, probably events will taking this example from international sales strategy for events, so events will change, probably meetups will change, but the structure won't, how people are operating on events, it doesn't change for years. So
Everyone is drinking coffee, and that's the best moment to call them.
yeah, basically, or it's always good to ask questions speakers, or something. So there are some good practices you can follow, nevertheless the AI.
So you're working with students, but also with other people, marketers and leaders, etc. Most probably you often hear about their fears about the AI. What are the most common fears that you hear from people you're working with?
Regarding students, I do not hear many complaints or fears. They are very open to use. Young people are acquiring technology as it is. That's my experience. They are not feared. They are escaping a bit from social media, that's for sure, or for mess that we created as millennials in this field. But then, so they are not using particular channels like messengers or social media like Instagram, TikTok, because they are avoiding chaos. But then they are very eager to use technology to leverage their work. They are learning very fast, and they are very open in it. But then what I struggle with is working with the older generation of people and managers who are fear to lose their jobs. They feel okay, this is something that can replace me. That everyone is talking about that. Even Fever CEO yesterday or 2 days ago, he said AI will change the entire world. It will took your job, and it will took my job. Let's discuss that. Let's think about that. And that's basically true. AI can replace everyone. There is no person in the world that can't be replaced. Even biggest brains that could be replaced by AI, because that's the super intelligence and that's the collective intelligence in general. So let's imagine we'll collect all of the geniuses in the world and connect in one team. That's basically AI. And then
It's still fascinating. It's still pretty stupid, or maybe it still depends mostly on how we use it. But there is an access to a great intelligence there as well.
I would polemize with that. If you will discuss things with real geniuses, you can say they are hallucinating. They are very often perceived as people who are mad.
Yeah, that's even some interviews that I recently watched with physicists, for example. They were like, okay, those guys are a bit
Crazy.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So that's perceivement because those guys are thinking in the future. You know, they are perceiving reality differently. That's the reason why they are geniuses. And it's the same with super intelligence, with AI. It's perceiving reality differently because it's smarter than us, and we are often do not listen. Okay, it's hallucinating, but maybe there is something in it. You know, maybe they are smarter than us, and I believe so. So that's the first part you said about hallucinating, and then you said that it's making mistakes. Obviously, there is a part of hallucinating in terms of results sometimes. So it creates the results that are not fulfill our expectations very often. But then that's something I mentioned before in this or previous episode, I believe, that if you will give the structure input and then you will define your requirements very precisely through structure output. So you define, okay, I need an Excel file, Excel database, or I need a video in this with this requirement. You will give him the example, it will deliver it. And it's the same like with employees. It's the same process.
is exactly. This is why I said that it's mainly like the results are not as good as we expect, mainly because we are using it wrongly, and by that I meant that we are as a people, as a human species, we are very bad in communication.
Yeah, that's true.
Like even with each other, like there's like most of the conflicts that we have is mainly because we are bad in the communication, and most of the mistakes that we are making when building something or doing something is through the mistakes in the communication. And since we cannot communicate with each other, how could we be good in communication with another, I don't want to call it species, but with another species or tool or whatever, which actually require way better precision in the communication than we have with each other.
There's a huge discussion in states around truth-based AI and truth-based communication. Is it even possible to communicate in a in that precise way as AI is communicating? AI is based on data and it has all of the knowledge about the words we are using. So let's imagine that we are using the word of marketing, yeah? Or we define what is strategy. That would be better example. So we define what is strategy, and you asked me about my explanation. And each person who is working with strategy has their own explanation of that. But then AA has the best definition in the world, coming from the best experts. That is very precise understanding what strategy is and what is not, coming from researchers, coming from people like mentioned it already here. Philip Kotler.
I would a little bit disagree with it. I would rather said that AI has the most common definition of strategy, or most repeated definition. It doesn't mean it will be the best, or it doesn't mean that it even will be like research supported or something like this. It will be the one that appeared most often in the data that it was.
It depends which model you will take.
Of course, there are some models that will be particularly trained based on the science knowledge or something like this.
Let's use Google Deep Research,
for example.
here, yeah? So if we'll use Google Deep Research, we'll get very precise definition. And then an AI is perceiving words literally, like autistics. Like I would say, people who are like there's this myth that people who are autistic or are geniuses, in a way, very highly intelligent, they're understanding what you are talking to them literally. So if I will tell you, do not touch this cup, they will perceive like that, or I will tell the word of AI and they will perceive that as a precisely AI, not machine learning, not everything that we believed in the past that was AI.
Not even LLM.
Not even LLM, not Gen AI. That's slightly different definitions for AI. It's very precise in communication. And there is this very famous book and movie where people were perceived by super intelligence coming from different planet, but as bugs, because we were perceived as we are lying species. And definitely AI can think about us like that, you will ask, because we are so nuanced in communication. We are so politically correct. We are using very circular expressions and words around things that we want to say, and we are not precise in communication, and that's something that is a huge problem in the communication with technology, because programming is very precise, then machine learning is quite precise, I would say, but still based on data, or based on outcomes, like images or videos. And then AI is a very independent tool, so it's not precise. So we need to be precise to get the specific outcome we want to achieve.
Getting back to the previous question, because we go
Circulate
around it. I asked about the common fears. You said that usually the managers who are experienced managers, Sarah, they fear the most that the AI will take their job. Is there the biggest factor that creates resistance to implement AI in organization? Because we in the previous episode, in this episode, you spoke about the organizations that are using AI in a very advanced way, in a very widespread way across the entire organization. But there are just a few organizations like that I can name. And most of the organizations are not using AI at all, or they are using it
as bots or something.
Generate content, to do the invoicing or whatever. Like we are doing this stuff for those companies as well. But what is the biggest factor, biggest obstacle that creates this resistance to implement AI in the organization?
I believe the obstacle is that we are thinking about things in an old way. Let's say we're thinking about privacy in an old way. So we can hide our strategy in front of competition because we won't talk about that, or we won't send files to AI. And it's a bullshit, AI doesn't know the privacy term, I would say. It will use everything and will access everything. And so we need to change our thinking about that. It's a mind shift, it's a huge change of thinking about that. That's very simple example. But then about cybersecurity, for example, we think, okay, so we can recently I was a speaker at some event for women in tech, and there were a girl woman who is a CEO of the company, cybersecurity companies, that is helping governments to hide documents in basement, basically, I would say. And then I asked it, but how it will, how it's safe, it's like a very simple solution to, it's very, I'm not, do not want to sell any solutions to hackers, but then there is a simple simple path to hack that through socio techniques. If you can hack Capitol in States, that was the last month, there were hack on all of the TV in Capitol. So Congress of USA, US government entity. And there were videos that were, and they needed to plug off all of the TVs from the network to avoid the attack because they were not able to stop it. So if
I think that Dutch fired too many cybersecurity experts there.
there have 10 of them. I'm joking. But still, if those guys can't protect their solutions, and they have plenty of billions of dollars going to cybersecurity there, we can't hide it too. And if we can observe that the biggest issue here is the human, we had this Pete Hexet who shared some plans through Signal with his family or friends or journalists, and I believe that was some kind of provocation, I would say, to provoke the discussion about, okay, but are we even able to protect those data? They need to be cryptographed in a way, or designed in a way that could not be readable for competition, or they need to be not that clear. Like, we should have the frame for that. We should be transparent to leave people to make them decisions in the team. But then, in the end of the day, the core of the strategy should be in the founders mode. Let's say, so I mentioned here founders mode is Paul Graham essay around what is in the head of the founder, of the head of it. So I mean here, the board of members, or in terms of governments, it would be the key people to decide around the strategy in terms of a specific area, and based on trust, based on specific process, we need to deliver the result. Hiding strategy is not efficient anymore. Hiding documents or cybersecurity, privacy is not even possible in the age of our AI. There are so many hack tactics. I would not mention, but there are plenty of them. So it's not possible to do that.
And I believe that the problem is somewhere else. The issue is not in hiding those documents, because there is no value in these documents in general. Like, mainly, like 99% of those documents are useless, or actually maybe not useless. They are very useful for the particular organization, but are useless for another organization. But where the value is actually in the execution and the unique know-how that the company has, that usually is not in any documents, but mainly in people's head, mainly in founders or leaders' heads.
So how to deliver that? How a strategy? How to be agile in that? What is the outcome, entire outcome, and how they will achieve that? That's the value itself, not the data. Obviously, there is this approach in European Union about GDPR, about the data security of the citizens, and that's disputable in a way, I would say, because we can't hide those data. The leaks of data is massive, so we need to figure out how to build a new chain of identity validation that is ready for AI era, and there are like bunch of things that are unique for people. One of them is eye. Second one is like fingerprints,
or sort of
and a voice.
voice.
A voice is also unique, and
There's a bunch of them, like pheromones, DNA, like a bunch of them.
so we need to think about that, how to protect those data, not the PESEL or any other what is the in state that will be PESEL, that will be
National
ID,
number, for example.
national insurance number. It's probably already leaked many times,
Yeah.
and if someone would like to access it, it will.
Well, and I think that this is the area, that's a topic for entire
That's
another conversation, like how to protect the data in the age of AI.
Yeah, but that's the most common fear, when I recently I spoke with one of the French banks, and they are trying to hide all of the models on their internal servers because of the compliance and privacy policies. And I can understand that, because regulators, like European Union regulators, are requiring that, and they are in European Union, so they like to be in line with law. That's a good thing, and they should. But then the law should change.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that the law is good,
that's true.
or is adequate to the current state of the world. Getting back to the marketing topic. At one of the interviews that I watched, the interview with you, you said that AI won't eliminate advertising, but it will change it. What did you meant? And that was pretty interesting for me, and I would like to elaborate a little bit more on that.
So basically, the advertisement market was designed by Meta, Google, and other ad techs. They gave the platform for advertisers, and then they built this partnership model, affiliate model, that they have partners who teach companies how to do some advertisement or help to deliver advertisements through different platforms. And that's the very centralized way of thinking about ads. And in this very model, we have the vendors who are helping companies to advertise themselves. Thanks to AI, Meta is allowing and Google also, they allow to create the ad by the customer themselves. So me as a solopreneur, let's say, I can go to Meta platform or to Google platform, and through AI, I can define my goal, define my strategy, tone of voice, and create all of the marketing materials for advertisement and decide where it will be shown through simple prompt. That's the entire goal. That's how it will operate very soon, I would say. And Meta is already on the delivery stage on that, and probably they are not launching it because they are like Mark was talking about that they have something in that, and he announced that, but they didn't launch that because they probably are thinking about the Rogers curve, utilization or adoption of the technology, that people are not ready for it. But then it will eliminate entire vendor stage. So all of the agencies that were taught how to operate on Google advertisement platform or Meta platform, they will disappear from the market.
So
Because
if we are predicting that it will be the end of the marketing agencies.
Reinvention, not the end. Yeah,
Okay.
reinvention, let's say. So the function of them will change definitely, because every company will be able to create a very simple prompt in Meta AI, and will be able to generate the ad by themselves. That is already in line with their needs, requirements, etc. So what will be the role of those vendors? Help to deliver best strategies for advertisement tactics.
That was about what I want to say, that most probably they will need to move upstream in the value stream and move closer to the strategy than to the execution of the strategy. Makes sense. If you would be designing the marketing department today from scratch, like I know there is some company that doesn't have marketing department yet, and they want to they ask you how to create the marketing department, who to hire, like how to build the processes around it, etc. How would you do this today in the age of AI?
So I recently designed that for ML Ops company that didn't have that, and I just designed the model.
Instead of hiring people, you hired AI for
I just told them, okay, you're guys who are like developers. Here's the what I will use. You can buy the model from me, or you can design your own.
How does it work? Who is using this model? Like who is telling the model what to do? Like who is then, let's say, for example, publishing content that the model is creating or whatever, or does it happen automatically or?
All of those can happen automatically if it's designed well.
Okay.
That's something that is like almost all of that. But like basically, if you're the owner of the software house, so you can imagine that everything can be basically automated. But then for a small company, using make.com or Zapier or any other integrational tool or vendor, I mentioned tools from Google, for example, here. So, for example, Vertex AI, you can automate most of the actions in terms of marketing. Marketing is very well automated. It's like most common process. In terms of sales, also like maybe 80% of things you can automate. Like you can automate the human interaction through the sales process. I mean, meetings, consultations. That's even possible right now with agents. You can simulate that, and there are some companies that are doing that already with successes. So you can even recognize that that's not the real human, but it's superhuman, I would say. But it's mostly implemented right now on the level of onboarding of the customer or presentation of the offer, but not on the consulting part. So you can't, for now, I didn't see any solutions for sales process that will automate this part. But either like I believe 80 or even 90% can be automated right now. So for the small company where your strategy is usually based on SEO, content, advertisement, like conference content, landing pages, websites, video, images, that all could be created by AI. What you can't be replaced, it's personal presence at conference, at networking, at the meeting with the board. You like this style of networking that going for a party or going for a boat with the board members of the client. So you can't replace this, you can't replace human to human relations. Yeah. But then every other actions that probably could be replaced.
So do you foresee the future, not so far from now, where like there will be bunch of solopreneurs or very small companies that are very, very efficient, that are doing a lot of stuff through the AI agents automation, and there are people mainly just to build all of this stuff, like tune all of this stuff or iterate on that, and their second job will be to interact with their key clients, key customers.
So when I'm designing organizations right now, I'm designing the core team usually. So the core team is usually the Scrum one or Agile one, we could say, because we are from this environment. But basically, up to 10 people, usually 8. That's enough for the entire goal, let's say, because in the beginning that could be one person, and there are plenty of examples of people who designed many organizations in the digital field or consulting or design, UX, etc. That could be operated by one person and even sold by. There is a guy in States that is creating every quarter new company, growing that and selling for a bunch of millions of dollars, and then he's starting over and over and over and selling again.
There's at least few of them.
Yeah, there is a few of them. So basically, it's possible with one person. There's plenty of example of such organization already operating for years. So, for example, in Europe, we have Basecamp, which is a very good example of such operations.
30, 40 people.
Like now around 80, but they have like it's a couple of companies in one company, and the core team is 10 people.
10 people. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Jason and DHA are creating a great organization for years already, and that's agile in a way of operating and creating products and delivering on the market and promotion, and they are very successful, etc. So that's something which is coming from services and digital services field or software field. But you can't like actually the challenge is in terms of traditional businesses that require presence. So, for example, this scalability is not achievable yet in the hairdresser industry. Yeah, or it's not achievable yet when we are talking about manicure. I have nice manicure.
Cool. It's really nice. Yeah, like a bunch of things that are done by human to human, like physiotherapists, like this kind of stuff, like nurses.
Yeah, working with horses.
Working with horses, yeah, as our friend.
With animals in general, yeah.
Yeah, like a bunch of things that require human to human or human to something, somewhat interaction. Yeah, so those things most probably won't be replaced and will scale through hiring more and more people.
Yeah, but in general, in industrial, for example, Amazon or any other company that is working in logistics in Krakow, we have SKK, which is a huge company responsible for logistics. They are operating based on voice interface, based on robots already for years. That's not a new company, Amazon is not a new company. They revolutionize the whole industry. Using technology, robots, robotics mechanisms, and they cut costs of delivery like tremendously. So let's imagine what will happen if we implement the new technology there, like on the top of that, and or we'll implement those technologies in a scale of smaller companies because it will be so cheap.
That sounds, from one hand, very cool. From the other hand, a little bit scary in terms of what will happen with all of those people who unfortunately will lose their workplace.
That's why the entire society will need to change and think about what they need to dream about, because if we think, so we used to work 4 p.m. or 9 to 5, yeah. And usually people were thinking about their life in terms of two goals. First goal, as adults, obviously, first goal was to raise their children and then go to work. And then we, as a society, we stop making children. We can see that fertility is very low. And then we are taking this second purpose. So we want to go to job. So what will we do? What is the sense of the existing? What is our purpose?
I still believe in this utopia from Star Trek franchise where people will just find their own purpose and then they will focus on that just for the purpose, not for money.
Hopefully, yeah. But then we have this rise of depression, a rise of mental illnesses right now, and many struggles as a society in general, I would say. And I believe that's the reason why we ended this question in the previous episode. And you asked me what I will recommend to ask yourself, and I said, what are you dreaming about? What do you wish for? Because AI is like having a gene on your service, and it can deliver whatever you want, but you need to know what you want. And then if you do not dream anymore, or we as a humanity want to create new don't invent new things, will die, like basically. And that's something what we can observe, like the wave of depression, suicides, fertility very low, struggles in terms of governments and policies, and war that we are observing next to our border. So there's plenty of things that we are observing as a society that are very challenging, and technology can help with that. But then we as people, we need to know what we want, like just as simple as that.
And that's not simple at all.
Yeah, I know.
Like that was sarcastic for those of you who didn't catch it. No, that knowing what you want is probably one of the hardest question that everyone at one point in their life or many times in their life should answer, but it's not easy. Do you think that the problem is in the education? Because like we haven't been prepared for what is happening right now, and I think that our kids, like the next generation, is not being prepared for that as well. Like our education system, or the way we are raising kids, raising the next generation, is not the way that that actually is helping them to find themselves out in this new environment, especially that this environment is evolving so fast that even if you would like to design today the educational system for the next generation, most probably will be terribly wrong in what we are designing.
I believe there's a couple of levels of problems here. We are in Europe, in Poland right now, and we can look at that from the perspective of CEE and let's say last 30 years after the Berlin Wall disappeared. Yeah. And I have a very young mentees, so sometimes I'm giving them the lessons of history. So I will give you also a spot of that. But so let's talk about Second World War and what happened after. So the Europe was split into half, and we can see the results of it still. In terms of, for example, the result of elections in Germany and how the country is split it exactly through the line of the that the border was split between two parts of the Europe. It generated the huge crisis of values. in CE because and in Europe in general, I would say, because people were polarized. They were angry at themselves. Their families were splitted. People were like, stop believing in government, stop believing in purpose. They were like feeling worse, like many problems we faced after the Second World War. And this decision has tremendous outcome for Europe that we could observe still, like the crisis of values in this part of world. And that's what we can observe in other parts of world also. So we can see this crisis of values in states. So populism brought us to the point where 5% of girls, young girls, are on OnlyFans instead. They are thinking prostitution is fine and they can, earn money on their body. And that's something what we didn't aim to as leaders, probably. That's not, I hope so too.
Yeah.
Through popularization of a good cause, which empathy is, we meet this point where, as a society, we think we should show empathy to pedophiles, or we should show empathy to people who are very evil, and we should not punish them. Yeah. So we need to review our values and its implementation in the real world. So what exactly does it mean to be empathetic? It means showing vulnerability to people who are good, and helping to be. But then, if you will meet people who are evil, we should be able to recognize that and not allow them to for example. Hurt our children. Yeah, basically. So that's first struggle we have as a society. The second one, we are led by old leaders. So for last 50 years, the change of the leadership wasn't done. We still have like very old leaders in most of the countries. We can see that, and they do not understand the challenges. They are like thinking the old way. They are not understanding the challenges that are coming with technology, and they are not seeing how technology can help to deliver value to the new world or help to solve the problems. And I'm seeing that on many occasions. Like in December, I got the contact from the foundation from Australia, and they said, okay, we have the problem with car accidents in Australia and how technology can help them. And they thought about using AI agents to navigate people. And I think, oh, but why? But if you can use AI to analyze videos and eliminate the sources of the problem, so not understanding the way that technology could be used brought wrong and very costly solutions. And that's the current state of leadership. So they do not understand the technology. They do not understand the new generations. They do not listen new generation of people. And we can observe the results that are tremendous. We are like facing the third world war, like not being very dramatic, but yeah, that's
maybe that's the reason, like why we are facing this potential third world war, because like people, as we spoke before, like some people do not want to face the change. They want to keep the status quo, and right now also probably the only way to keep the status quo is to start some kind of war that will actually
because
move
we
us.
used to do wars when we faced something that was the solution they known.
Yeah, and yeah, like the war will actually bring us back for a couple of decades in the development, and that actually allow those crazy people to keep the power and keep the status quo.
That's true.
We're supposed to talk about the marketing, and we and we ended up in the sociology, politology, and
But you asked me what is blocking the change. So that's something that is blocking the change from my perspective. I think like marketing is the outcome, is one of the very small processes, and basically nothing will change in the world if those key fundamentals won't change, principles won't change.
yeah, that's true. Okay, so the last question they have for you, like, imagine we have the same conversation 5 years from now. Like, what do you hope we'll be saying about how business have evolved in this past 5 years with AI?
So I thought about that when I prepared to this conversation, and I thought what I'm dreaming about.
Yeah, like answer your question from the previous part.
So I'm dreaming about the world where I'm waking up in the morning and I can read a very specific information that is designed for my needs and designed in a way that is scientific, facts-based, data-based, without manipulation of media, without manipulation of data, without manipulation of the truth. That is allowing to use technology by my children to enhance their creativity, enhance their capabilities, talents, and let them create things that are bringing their vision from the very early years to reality. And what am I talking about? So let's say I have two sons. They are 6 and 8, and they would like to create things. My first son, his dream is to be in the television right now with his book he wrote. He wrote a poetry book.
Wow.
Yeah, already two.
Whoa.
And they illustrated them by themselves. So what technology can help them to do is to publish that easily by self-publishing, by taking their hand sketches into real images, to rewrite and check their poetry with a proofreader, and then translate that into many languages and leverage their talent. So that's how the technology can help our children on a very simple example. But let's use other example. Like if your children are eager to do sport and play volleyball, so you wish to her to be a great player. So technology can enhance that. You can register on video how your children is playing and take personal coach almost for free based on those videos using technology, using AI. And in the same time, it can have own merch with own brand very easily using technology, because it can create own logo for 6-year-old because it's that cheap, create own like t-shirts or cups or whatever they wish to. And I believe we should move our attention from creating more LinkedIn posts, less waste in terms of digital information creation and house creation, to the real life outcome creation, helping to make the world more beautiful for our children. So that's my dream.
And for ourselves
For ourselves too.
as well.
That's true.
Yeah, that sounds great. So thank you for sharing that. And I wish you and I wish everyone to those future to happen in the next 5 years. Or faster, hopefully. So thank you very much for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed this discussion about marketing and the state of the world with agile, with
AI and agile, everything.
state of the world with AI, agile, and everything. Don't forget to subscribe for the next episodes, and if you like it, just thumbs up on YouTube and other channels where you are watching it or listening to. Thank you very much, Beata.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.